Hello, and welcome back, adventurers. Get comfy as we finish our exploration of Kartakass. Located in the foothills of the eastern Wolfwood, the Ambrose compound was the first sign of Kartakan civilization I encountered. The compound is composed of a two-story lodge house and a few outbuildings. A crude-looking but solid palisade keeps the wildlife at bay. It would be just another bleak hermit house if not for its inhabitants. This compound is a home to the organization local monks call the Brotherhood. Their goal is to hunt down and destroy all who wield magic. They claim to hunt only evil spellcasters, but I find it unlikely that these vigilantes would distinguish between true villainy and, let's say, scholarly research techniques. Skald is the largest and in many ways most powerful settlement in Kartakass, though in cultural matters it is widely considered to fall in Harmonia's shadow. Skald is a crossroads. To the north, the Crimson Road stretches to Barovia and beyond. To the south, the Merchant's Way cuts west to Sificus, and the road to Harmony leads to Harmonia. Skald is bordered to the east by overhanging cliffs and to the north and west by the Kilovan River as it curves southward. It plunges 60 feet off the cliffs into a burning basin that throws up a fine curtain of mist year-round. Locals call this basin the Cauldron due to its boiling appearance. Curtain walls 25 feet tall mark Skald's southern border. Built by the so-called Invidian occupiers, they once radiated out from Dargard Keep. Today, this raised citadel and its outer curtain wall are little more than a shattered outline of rubble surrounding a wide gravel plaza. Locals maintain that ghostly soldiers still patrol the keep's walls. Skald annual Maester Singer contest is held in Dargard Plaza, where the picturesque ruins and the eerie shadows greatly enrich the ambience. The Great Tower runs up to the Maester Singer's keep atop the cliffs. Another relic of the Invidian occupation, the keep is dark, ominous structure, though its oppressing atmosphere is blunted each night by the flocks of sheep sheltered between the curtain walls. The keep serves as the official home and offices of the Maester Singer and Town Guard, but Maester Singer Lucas is rumored to spend most of his evenings elsewhere. A wall runs north of the heart of the town, dividing it into two quarters, Upper Skald to the east and Lower Skald to the west. Upper Skald is an affluent neighborhood, with cobblestone streets and frequent patrols by the Town Guard. It is home to the town's most prominent establishments, most of which are clustered around the Cauldron. The Grand Hall of Song and Dance is the largest standing structure in Skald after the Maester Singer's Keep. The locals consider it a failed attempt to rival Harmonia's Harmonic Hall. One of the Grand Hall's close neighbors is the Clock Tower Mill. Waterwheel powers the mill's clock tower, which is a source of a great civic pride. Lower Skald radiates from an attractive park, but the surrounding neighborhoods are larger slums. The quarter's only major business is the Skald sawmill, which bustles with activity from spring through fall. Most river traffic moors at Lower Skald's wharves, though the neighborhood often floods during the spring overflow. Two shanty towns that lie beyond the safety of its fortifications surround Skald. The largest of the two, known as the Out Town, hugs a road leading out of Dargard Plaza. This is the dangerous place at night, crime-ridden, stalked by wolves, and inhabited by eccentrics and criminals. The smaller shanty town sits just north of Cauldron. Its shacks have been vacant for decades, and the whole area is positively overrun with Mickelburn vines. Hiking south from Skald, the road to Harmony soon delivers to Harmonia, the only other Kartakan settlement of note. Although Harmonia is relatively isolated, it is widely considered the cultural center of Kartakass and features several impressive feats of engineering. The road crosses the Musardi River with the Whirling Bridge, which consists of a stone tower that uses twin drawbridges to span the river. In the times of trouble or when affluent-looking travelers balk at the stiff tolls, the guards manning the Whirling Bridge can raise both drawbridges, then pivot the tower itself full 90 degrees to block all accesses. Cliffs 45 feet tall border Harmonia to the northeast. The Town Guard lights a series of bonfires along the cliff tips during festivals. A handful of guard towers watches the town, accessed by a hand-winched lift. A huge catapult that overlooks the Whirling Bridge and can also swivel to fire upon town itself joins the towers in city's defense. The Maester Singer's mansion sits atop a low hill at the center of Harmonia, looking over the town's rooftops. Harmonia's main street circles around the manor and it's dubbed the Loop. The streets grow even more affluent as one moves east, culminating with the South Hill, home to the manors of the elite. Next to South Hill stands Harmonia's greatest source of civic pride, the Outdoor Amphitheater. The amphitheater is carved into the living rock of the cliff face, and its acoustics are superb. A performer who sings on the stage can be clearly heard halfway across town. The The stage is ringed by a series of 4 tiers. The tiers are always packed during weekly performances, with audiences spilling out onto the grassy lawn, where seating is free. Harmonic Hall, widely regarded as the finest musical academy in the core, earns most of its income from these performances and sits at the far end of the amphitheater's lawn. The entrance to the prestigious Crystal Club is located on the 4th tier. Standing in the Crystal Club is like standing within a vast geode, and the crystals resonate when performers take the stage at the amphitheater, as if singing back to them. The western end of Harmonia is a poor neighborhood dedicated to agricultural industries, including a wind and water-powered grain mill that sits on its own island. West Harmonia also houses the Temple of Divine Song, the only active temple of the ancestral choir cult. Although the temple is in poor repair, its pipe organ has been lovingly restored, and the mora of the congregation float out over the town every morning. As if the Arcalius Hills were not desolate enough, roughly 40 years ago they became home to a woman named Radiga, supposedly a terrible priestess who drew the power directly from the undead. She was supposedly slain in 736 Roman calendar, but many tales claim she soon rose from the dead and disappeared in the mysterious new realm of Daglan that did not exist for long. 20 years later, the Dead Hills are still littered with the signs of Radiga's occupation. Mummified corpses lay to rest in numerous small outlying caves and upright stakes driven into the ground along the tops of many ridges. Bleached human skeletons are shackled to each post, apparently those of victims left to die. Radiga made a warren of caves, now known as the Catacombs of Kartakass, into her center of power. From the surface, only a squat ziggurat topped by the weathered statue of a great raven marks the catacombs' entrances. Bard's tales hold that Radiga retreated from the catacombs with such haste that many of her grim treasures were left behind. The same logic would suggest that the supernatural traps set to guard the treasures also remain intact. The catacombs were long considered to be uninhabited by any creatures save the dregs of Radiga's mindless retinue, but trappers in the bordering redwood and mistwood claimed that a new tenant appeared about 3 years ago. They dubbed this creature a beast of the hills. It has only been glimpsed from afar, and many locals fear that Radiga has returned. Thank you so much for your time, patient listeners. Kartakass is a land that played a great role in shaping the core as we know it, and only time will tell if it will do so again. But for now, as always, be careful while crossing the mists.